They were just constantly sitting around and then trying to make the reaction afterwards based on that. Lynn clearly came in with some intention, I think, to that T side. But yeah, I think there were certain things that had to be worked out about how their CT would operate. So I'm apprehensive about what we're going to expect today. But our final entrance into the ESL Pro League from the Asia region will be decided right here, right now. IHC versus Lynn Vision in a best of 3. There can be no mistakes, and sure enough, there is no mistake. We are on Inferno to kick off our series.
They didn't end up picking up Anubis after all. They want to go with Pride and test it, and this is where Blitz will be tested in the apartments where he's trying to take that first duel. 2 players already trying to assemble up the quick boost up to have some silence, but in the meanwhile, Starry will have lost out any opportunity to take down Blitz. Of course, he has already retreated back. They've got an incredibly passive setup, completely giving up archways in the process of trying to get a defense up and going. Remember, lots of utility available from Lynn Vision, so they are trying to go for a full A-side scale and execute in through the apartments area.
Waiting for the right cue. Now the flashes will come out. Annihilation fully blinded, and this is actually Bartek off his dagger as well. Had to turn himself away, and Blitz can only get the 1. That is not what you want to see from a 3-man sight hold. Only 1 kill found. IHC's remaining B players will scurry their way to try and think about this one, but it might be a little too far gone. Great execution there from Lynn. Just a simple flash and scale in. IHC caught unaware, I think, on the particular timing of the fights.
I mean, right there, they had the setup for it as well, right? You're thinking that, okay, quick apartments pop coming out, you've got a player down in pit, you've got a player back towards balcony as well. This should be simple enough to at least get a couple down, and then we can see what Blitz can get done from Grave. But instead, just the flashbang timing is fantastic. Annihilation can't find the player drop down early enough, and it's just gone.
I think it might have actually just been a bit of miscommunication about what they wanted to do with that setup, because Annihilation was sort of peeking into the apartments, so there's no real reason for Bartek to be looking out and sort of eating that flash.
Yeah.
Both those players being flashed up is unideal. Of course, the arches were open, but your Grave player should be able to deal or hear that if they make much progress. It's one of the problems with playing so deep within the bomb sites is that you do have to leave yourself somewhat exposed as well to get updates on the information. But a great opener here from Lynn, and Star was definitely a part of that conversation. Someone you were highlighting at the start of that round, and someone we were certainly highlighting yesterday with how good he was performing on Vertigo. Guy ended up.
It was fantastic.
An over 4 KD. You know, you don't see
31 and 7. Of course, just to finish out the video discussion, but I don't think we'd managed to mention that on air yet. It will be a overpass pick. Of course, IHC do ban out Vertigo as their perma, so overpass pick from Lynn Vision. They're hoping to be able to get back on their feet after yesterday's performances, and then Nuke will be the remaining map. So simple enough, and we will have to wait to see how the old classics fare. Annihilation missing out on an opportunity to get a quick tag, and there's still some road for Lynn Vision to maybe try and go back towards the A-bomb site, which seems to be the end goal.
Oof, nice little double entry there from Westmelon, just playing around the edge of that smoke. Hoping that he wasn't going to make that move, I don't think. Very dangerous kind of circumstances. And Annihilation, well, a tag is nice, but needed the headshot.
I think that's literally the worst possible gun you could have since CT spawn. Trying to defend for a full Arches wrap to B, that's not ideal.
Well, Zacher will be set up for at least 1 kill, with Starry acting as a bit of a buffer. But an SMG has been recovered, so Bartek is moving and running away. Another
I think he just bought that one.
Pardon?
I think he bought that one.
Well,
Bartek, the SMG.
He's still scurrying away. It's all good.
Yes.
It's a simple trick. And the big thing here, I think, as well, for people that weren't sort of watching in the earlier stages of the conference is, you know, we talked a lot about I think some of the highlight players that you expect to see on IHC, you know, Techno, Score, Blitz, Annihilation. One of them is missing. Bartek is stepping in for the ball. And he's been fine.
He's had a good showing so far.
He has been
Of course,
fine.
last time these guys played Inferno up against Rare Adam, it was actually a very interesting state of affairs to find themselves in. IHC found most of their rounds with the T side. I believe it was an 11-4 ending to that half, and on CT side, they fell apart like a ton of cards.
Felt like you were gonna line up for bricks there, but...
I realized bricks aren't supposed to fall apart.
No,
a little bit
probably
late,
not.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's been the modus operandi for construction workers for about, what, 600 years? Backer falls apart. Great deagle shot coming out from Blitz. You can always expect a few more of those. He is fantastic at lining them up.
Yeah, I've been trying to tell people, watch this guy on deagles. Sharpest deagler in the east.
This is going to be a big problem. Expro is already tagged up. Techno comes through and just finishes him off quickly with the dig. It's a 4-on-3 on this bomb site alone. Westmelon is gone. They haven't recovered weapons, but do they even need to at this stage? Oh, score! Oh, I thought that was just a Blitz's deagle coming in, but Score's got the double dink through the smoke. Nelly's all alone. These are 4 players who are gearing up and getting ready to pick up a few Galils for their troubles. They just managed to win outright with a basic stack.
Basic stack, no armor, just upgraded pistols, if even that. I mean, a round that you're not expecting IHC to win or even make slightly competitive. I mean, the opener is fine, but Lynn sort of trail in one by one to try and pick apart this B-side setup, and it only goes from bad to worse because they don't even get one-for-one exchanges. They're losing the sort of secondary entry without getting a single kill. And so they almost feel like they have to keep reinvesting into sending another body through, and it just ends up being the wrong call. Ooh. Fantastic shot to open up this round here from Zacher. Annihilation completely plucked out at the start, looking for one of those opening picks you want to see from him. But I see a man down and will be spread a little thinner here on the CT side. And that type of round, the one that IHC just won, is exactly what we saw Rare Adam do to IHC in their series at the start of the conference. Some of the tomfoolery that Rare Adam got away with against Lynn as well. So those are things that can certainly stack up. A little double here from Techno as well on the B-side play, but now he's all alone, and while he will keep them at bay with the Molotov and the HE, Techno has constantly moved himself out of a different position. Nelly gets a kill on the lurk, but they're still split about which way they should go, so Bomb's making its way back through middle to see if they can maybe even capitalize on Bartak.
Man, I love this angle Bartek's taken up as well. It's just such a stark contrast to how he was playing up against Rare Adam, too. When you consider, he was sometimes... at times maybe second guessing exactly where he's going to go and this and that. We commented on maybe some ring rust coming in, but he just looks like he's very much ready for this play. Now, still, a ramp back towards the B bomb site will put them very short of time. Remember, they have to walk a lot of the way. They have no idea where Techno is playing in from. And with that M4A1 long range, he is primed to be able to finish these players off. Remember, Starry's already low as well. Zacher not too far off. So you drop the bomb, you do anything of the sort. Yeah, you're good to go. Techno spots them out. Now just has to back off. This grenade is fantastic. It'll be weakening him up, but the bomb is taking charge forward. Techno gets the first. Techno gets the second.
And just like his name would suggest, 4 kills in the round. I mean, fantastic work to keep himself alive for so long, but then also just find that first kill in from New Box. As soon as he did that, he basically secured the round win for IHC. No way Bartak was getting there in time. But also, he was the final hurdle they needed to pass on that B bomb site, and they just took their extra time, hoping that he might make a mistake, and he didn't.
Blitz is getting so damn aggressive into Glocks. Come on, Blitz. This is being a real Cobra. An eco-Cobra.
The brains behind the operation. Setting himself up, you know, for his opening set of kills. Westmelon tried his best to get a trade, but ultimately just falls victim to more of Blitz's big brain shenanigans.
That's a fun flash.
Not sure where he thought it was going, where Score thought that flash was going to go. He heard it.
I think you're just like really confused about how it's that low, right? You're not used to that if it's a self-throw bounce off. Hoping to see Annihilation's AWP come into play. Obviously, on Mirage, he had an absolute gimme of a game. He was looking to light it up day before yesterday versus Rare Adam. And Inferno was a little bit less nice, but in all fairness, that's true across the board on their CT side. Good grenades, at least you'd think so, but surprisingly enough, Nelly manages to finagle his way out of damage.
Yeah, I feel like they blew up on either side of our ears, but somehow didn't do a lot of damage to the actual people we were watching, so...
The Spielberg effect.
All just there for the drama. Yeah, no drama taking middle. Hoping for a couple twists and turns, perhaps, but Lynn are anticipating that. They've got a decent amount of bodies here, and Annihilation is actually being very cautious about how this smoke is playing out. Starry's back is offered up as that smoke is invading, but Westbound's already close and finds the kill, moving through the Molotov and taking space CT.
He moved away for that first one, if I'm not wrong, so the inaccuracy on the scope just managed to get him. Now it's all down to score, and he's being circled in from either side. Needs to take a duel and take it now. It's a shot to the head, but not quite enough. Starry will not be dropping the bomb, and it's down to Techno. Players coming in from this side has to get every single one of these duels ready to fade away, and goes for the turn as well. Techno's come here to play, and he wants to play a bit more. Blitz will take away some of his toys, and Nelly will have to be what he makes do with. Mr. 4K coming up for another deagle, out and primed and ready. Nelly on 19, and now Nelly on nothing.
Techno's just too good. Techno is right on form for when you need him on IHC. Every one of these B plays where he is the last one that you have to get past, he is proven to be too much to handle. Another 4K. You know, think about the 9 kills he has. That has been 2 rounds that IHC have won, where Techno has gone 8.
I'm telling you, man, IHC, they heard that Imperial had already qualified, and maybe Double O Nation still had a chance to. They're like, well, listen, time to beat another Brazilian team. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing as well. I think people that maybe don't watch as many sort of Asia games or watch IHC too vehemently, they'll be looking at players like Blitz and Techno as the ones that stood out from the pack. You know, did probably the best out of all the expectations about where they would place in global Counter-Strike. Techno was right up there with the best of them. And yeah, I think he turned people's heads, but it's going to take a lot more sort of forays into the international scene for people to fully remember and keep track of what he's up to. The majors are nice, but that's only, what, 2 tournaments a year? So ESL Pro League would be a nice little way to increase the stock, increase the stature.
Also increase your chances of going further at majors as well, right? Like, it's got to be hard if every single time you go international, it is literally the biggest tournament in the world ever. And Pro League's not too far off, don't get me wrong, but obviously the majors at Rio
for the prestige, you know.
Yes.
It's the one that the developer is so intertwined.
Ooh. Flashbang doesn't actually land at all. Techno and Score make quick work of these Tech 9s. They are not going to be falling down to the same fate that they did versus Rare Adam. At least not yet.
Get to see Annihilation get on the board with this AWP. It's not like he hasn't had it, just instead keeps getting given it by headshots. Starry does find a nice kill, but Bartak has been nice and crisp as well. Trades are coming back, and Annihilation spots and drops that bomb. Will have heard that package hit the floor, even if he didn't get visual confirmation. And so now it's just Nelly left alone. A 1-on-4 is not exactly easy in this spot, but I'm not sure whether Nelly slipped on live or not. No, Annihilation didn't bat an eye. Didn't even think about the fact that he could wrap CT. Not yet. Nelly's little legs couldn't carry him fast enough. Nice little 5 in a row here from IHC after losing the pistol, losing the subsequent round, but then answering with the, lack of investment. It's really slingshot them right into the lead.
I know that technically all player models are the same size, but it just cracks me up to think about, like, because Lynn Vision are obviously the youngest team, so I think it's safe to assume they might also be shorter. Just like lots of like 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds going about just messing up people in a land cap or something.
Most people have grown the maximum amount they're going to by the time they're 18.
I don't know, in my head I just feel like, oh no, they're little babies, yeah.
Wow.
No, of course not. I mean, they're competitors and they are fierce at that. obviously having won out most of the Challenger circuit last year, 2 out of 4, the only 2 they attended. It would be a little bit heartbreaking, if I'm honest, if they can't actually make their way through at that final hurdle. Annihilation is playing this one a little bit more passively this time over, not trying to get aggressive straight down into mid-center.
Looking to flash, Starry's just running distraction, but not a whole lot of territory to work with here if you're Lynn Vision. Clearly they've set their sights on retaking banana control, but with Starry showing some presence towards the brackets, it's actually forced IHC further back within the bomb sites, and even the B-side players are going to honor and do much the same. It's a pretty solid staggered timing, and X-Pro does tank a decent amount of damage as a result of that. Not finding himself on the board as of yet, but I imagine that will change rather soon. Him and Westmelon are usually the ones that are at the front of the assault, and with 30 seconds left, that assault is clearly headed towards the B bomb site, but it's not so clear if your IHC just stall tactics over at B, but 20 seconds, they're really running out of time.
There's the pops to come through. They're moving in with Molotovs. They find the boosted player, but it's Pillar that is giving them trouble. Techno once again with the double. Nelly, deep smoke comes out, but that might be a push through warranted through it. Zacker's already tagged up in the spam, and is Starry to find Blitz through that smoke. Finally, getting a bit of that through smoke action as well. That did come back to haunt them earlier on in that anti-deagle round. Op and AK. Not the best of places to be trying to retake from, but remember, Annihilation's got an incendiary, so if he can line this one up properly, this could maybe set things up for Beauty from Bartek. Beauty from Bartek, though, will be delayed. He has no real chance of getting back into things, and this should be a safe call, maybe containment at best.
Yeah, I think it's very, very likely that these Lynn Vision players are about to die to the bomb, and you can see Annihilation still setting up for that containment. Starry as well is not exactly at a safe distance, so yeah, everybody dies here for Lynn Vision's third round. But a fantastic set of opening kills that, I mean, if they're not for the fact that they got the additional frag onto Blitz, just as they're sort of moving into the site and sort of capitalizing on the spam, if not for that, then there was a real chance, I think, for IHC to fully commit to that retake, but they were a little haphazard. They were sort of darting between the idea of if a Molotov or if Annihilation's Molotov flushed somebody out, then maybe they would go for it, but nobody offered up a fight. No clear duel could be won by either of the remaining IHC players. Of course, all the Lynn Vision players were low, and some of them were even lacking armor. You know, Zacher was pretty brazen with the limited HP he had.
Also wanted to give a quick shout out. Obviously, the ESL Pro League Oceanic Conference stage is also going on for the decider. They're 1-1 into things for that lower bracket final. And I would just like to let everyone know, because I think this is an important hallmark in CS history, we might end up having a team called Hello Kitten qualifying through to ESL Pro League.
I did see that, yeah. Certainly one way to brand yourself. Of course, if you're unfamiliar, and I know from the name you might be, Code, Lunges, those are names you probably recognize, maybe Valve.
Of course, right now, we've had banana control completely lost by the CTs, and the Ts have not pushed through, so maybe the CTs have also wooed their way through this round.
Oh dear.
Ooh.
Peak, and he's actually looking for more. That's the Annihilation we had come to know and love, but one that which we thought might have taken a bit more of a passive stead. Zacher, that double kill on the A bomb side, has secured the round here for Lynn Vision. There wasn't really a chance. As soon as the secondary player falls, that was the only isolated duel that we could really see presented.
That's the kind of play that when you go back in the demo and you point it out, Blitz is just going to ask him, what happens? Like, bro, I was feeling it, yo.
Yeah, I missed. You know? Because he had a chance. He shot the first bullet, it hit. Second one didn't. If it hit, the round's a completely different story.
I've had arguments with players like that. It's very frustrating.
I also believe that the problem discussed as he was doing it, considering the fact that they lost so much control over towards Banana. They wanted some extra information as to whether or not they should start moving over towards the B-bomb site or not. You know, taking a mid-fight or a mid-peak so late normal circumstances, it would probably be... It probably wouldn't be advised. But given the circumstances they found themselves in, a good way of getting some updated information and still having a chance at winning the round. That is the annihilation. That is the annihilation we came to enjoy on D13 not too long ago.
Good nade. A little bit low. The flashbang is fantastic. Techno! You put him in a corner and he'll fight his way out of it. What a beautiful play coming up between him and Score. Fantastic stuff. Gosh.
Yeah, you want to stay away from his sight, I think.
Want to get that away, 14 and 4?
Yep, no, that is it. Also, as well, you know, just small nuanced details where Techno very frequently, when they're setting up for plays like that, will sometimes jump on top of the sandbag to take that fight. You even saw from the perspective of the Lynn Vision players, as soon as they got flashed up, they actually made that adjustment while blind to sort of shoot at the top of the sandbags, and instead Techno just strafed out this time. So, you know, variance is always key.
Bartek just smells the money right now. He doesn't want to go hunting too hard for it, but this is a pincer getting ready to shut down on the necks of Lynn Vision. Flashbang through to get some information. They know they're still over in Banana. 30 seconds, and this Molotov's going to destroy them. Bartek getting ready to push through. Techno not blinded up. They don't have utility to try and fight this one out. Zacher is the only player with HP left, but he's got an AWP and no chance of crossing over. Another boost, and there's the frags. It's 4 found. Bartek not even needed to activate.
Really nice setup there from IHC as well. 3 players over on that B bomb site where they throw this flash from deep CT to get extra information from Score over at the coffins. And as soon as they make that play and Score throws that Molotov, giving away his positioning, you can see Lynn were swinging to fight spawn and hoping to catch the player that was setting up for that flash in the first place, only to be met by 2 players, 1 boosted. Things that vary the expectations of what Lynn Vision are going to be on the receiving end of. Annihilation is playing inside of the boiler with the AWP, and with these pistols out, this is very dangerous. Blitz actually has to stand his ground, and right now, Annihilation didn't even bat an eye. He was still stuck inside a boiler and just waiting for that first kill to come, but nobody actually went in for the trade on the Lynn Vision side. Limited investment. If they found themselves an AWP at the start of this, it could have been a different story, but they have dealt with a very fast push deep down B, and as well punished Blitz. These are recoverable weapons.
Bartek's the only one trying to fight them their way out of it, but he's got 29 HP. There's no chance for him to really put a stand against a Deagle with a FAMAS, no less. As it has many times over, it might just end up falling down to Techno. Honestly, I would be kind of afraid going to his bomb site, but the problem is you've got the AWP on the other side of the map, and regardless of how good Techno's been, that's just sort of this second mental check that you have to go through. But Lane have played this incredibly well. They've let IHC split themselves up completely. One at a time, the duels will be taken, and that gives them such a good shot at trying to take this one away. Bartek, in the meanwhile, trying to be sneaky. But remember, Blitz has taken that angle a few times before as well, so wouldn't be too surprised if they do end up being able to check that one. Starry might even be able to spot out the head if he moves slightly further forward. No, not quite. Bartek stands up and he's gone. Annihilation, the only one to find the frag, and now differentiated by a smoke. In 8 seconds, they will get the bomb down. Both these players have weapons, and even if Starry doesn't have armor, it will not matter from this angle.
They have kits, they have a smoke as well, so they can actually limit some of the vision here for Lynn Vision. Only if they've been playing within the bomb site or within the mini pit. You can see where that smoke has landed. Shouldn't affect where X-Pro or Starry are going to be able to set their sights, and great timing there from X-Pro. Annihilation wasn't ready for that duel, and in fact, X-Pro will be the one that finishes it all off. Gets on the board in this round, but finishes it off with 3 critical kills on a limited investment round here from Lynn Vision. That's a little taste of your own medicine, IHC, because that was what kick-started the run that we saw on their CT side.
I think that's also just stomped down in their wallets way harder than they expected it to. Remember, these past few rounds have been slightly less than competitive. When it goes the way of Lynn Vision, IHC been losing out most of their players, not really been able to save. Even if they did punish in the other side as well, it comes back to bite you. Now, I have to sort of ask the question, which is, it doesn't necessarily feel like IHC have tapered down since day before yesterday's losses to the Force Spies, you know, because you saw Blitz going for those eco frags earlier on as well. I joked about it because he had success, and that always seems to make it okay. But even now, Annihilation, such a difficult angle to hold up against what is likely to be a low buy or deagles or something of the sort, right? That's pushing over to inside the boiler room.
Yeah, no, these are definitely sort of positional. It's hard to say that they're errors until they're sort of met with aggression. You know, if he had gone for that peak and there was no presence from top middle, then there wouldn't have been an issue. You know, maybe taking somebody out from jumping inside of the apartments or sort of slow lurking in the apartments as well. You know, not uncommon plays as well for when you're set up for a low buy. But yeah, given the circumstances and how the round ends up playing out, it ends up being something that doesn't actually come back to haunt them. It's just more about how much they fought in the later moments of that.
Yep. It's about where Annihilation couldn't be, more than anything, right? Double night down, Bartek is low. Dear God, this is going to be a very troubled Mag 7. Blitz not able to find anything. Bartek and Annihilation are the ones to find the frags. Good flashbang. Score comes in from behind, and it's Westmelon unable to defend his AWPer. This is suddenly falling apart for Lynn Vision.
Yeah, this wasn't an ideal buy either from IHC, but the execution in which they retook that banana control has ended up in a flurry of frags. Sorry, was exceptional yesterday against Rare Adam on Vertigo in particular, and he's certainly something we'll be highlighting pretty continuously. I think he has probably the most attention out of the Lynn Vision players, and it's not as though the others have not been with the squad for as long. You know, Starry is a young dude. Xper, Westmelon, I think have definitely wrapped up the most tenure, but with one of their international forays being Starry acing versus G2, you know, that's definitely going to keep people interested. But will be a ace clutch attempt from him this time. They realize this round is too far gone, and that means that IHC can scuttle off with a few AKs alongside the buy they went for. I think from a low buy versus full buy standpoint, this game has already proven to be a little iffy. You know, IHC have had a couple rounds where, you know, even the low buys have been somewhat threatening. Now Lynn have actually suffered now 2 times over to low investments.
Flashbang, that does literally nothing. Blitz has to be careful though. Xpro's found these shots before, and it's just another time over. 3 down mid, and IHC are gone. The round has barely started. In one breath, you've lost 4?
Yeah, that's the opening 15 seconds. And Techno's probably looking around saying, all I see are dead friends. And he'll find himself his own death. A strange one, and a change of pace there from IHC, clearly. Blitz running it down middle to try and take these fights. I don't know if, you know...
Honestly, you could have stopped after saying running it down.
Well, I think it's a bit surprising, because seeing plays like that happen in, like, pistol rounds, or in rounds where maybe you have a limited buy, is actually not uncommon. But
yes,
you've just won a limited buy, now you're in a gun round. I think they were expecting that to be eco for Lynn Vision. It just wasn't the case.
He also just got so confused in the middle, right? He just takes a stand for like a solid half second, doesn't immediately retreat back either, doesn't push forward either with more utility. So it's just in a position where Annihilation's also on his side. There is literally no way to save Blitz. Annihilation tries to take that peek because he's saying, well, maybe I can get a trade, something like it, make it a bit more worth it. No, he's just gone.
Yeah, no Molotov for the underpass either, so just a number of things where they could have made their lives a little bit easier, I'm sure, but Lynn were very quick to capitalize. If they find themselves up to 7, 8 rounds, they'd be more than satisfied. I think that's how the B-side has played out, in spite of losing some rounds they know they could have maybe done better. Slow and steady versus the half investment now from IHC. And they have been patient. You know, you look back at the round in which they won with Tech-9s and Deagles. They reset down bottom middle to then re-hit the A-bomb site. Something that can really weigh on your opponent's minds. And Expert's actually probing. Finding a whole lot of nothing. First kill's there on the Techno, and we'll eat a flash as a result, but you can see this is adding so much pressure to these remaining B players, but they, I think, anticipate as well that Xpro is all alone. Problem is, they're actually hitting into the B bomb site just very, very late. Xpro was the initial scout. The rest of the troops have come on in, and there's no issue dealing with Score running through that smoke because they were hoodwinked. They thought it was going to be an A play.
And still, the rotation from IHC is just not here yet. Otherwise, there was a real possibility of trying to punish while the CT smoke starts to dissipate. Remember, they threw 2 smokes to CT. Coffin was unsmoked off because Westmoreland was a little bit further away from the back, and he was the only one with the smoke remaining. Score had a real chance there with the AK. It was dropped down, unfortunately, loses out the duel, and the rest of IHC is just nowhere nearby. They want to save these rifles.
Again, the patience on full display here for Lynn, and a nice little exit kill there from Blitz. Would have been nice if he'd grabbed himself one of the rifles as well to save into the next round. But good patience there from Lynn. Came down to the last 10 seconds before they dialed in the bomb, but made use of the extra space that Xpro had provided, and with the time running so low, IHC didn't think that it was even possible that it would be a B play. Surely if Xpro was going to make that type of a move, his teammates would have been right behind him, but they were able to isolate him no problem. Last round of the half, and we'll see which way the pendulum swings. At the moment, Lynn Vision have certainly pulled their socks up in these past few rounds, and as well, IHC's reinvestment is not ideal. UMP and MP9 being held by Blitz and Score, respectively. Got a whole lot of utility. They have a kit as well on Annihilation, but Flash is perfect. Bartak ate that, and Starry gets a double. It feels like we're seeing a lot of Lynn Vision doubles to open up rounds.
These past few rounds, it sure as hell does, yeah. It has to be Annihilation. Only man with a chance here, not too big. Nelly comes in, Annihilation good for the first. Trying to fly around the pillar at the back of the bomb site, but Zacher will put a stop to all of that, and with that, this should be 8 for Lynn Vision. I cannot imagine these two MP9s getting anything out of their hair. The fact that they have managed to reclaim a lead by the end of this half, after what was going on initially, like you mentioned, that's insane.
Yeah, it was a really solid string of rounds there from IHC, but yeah, Lynn didn't let that lead slip. Yeah, this 4-2 looks like it might just be a done deal. Annihilation did have a kit in the bomb site, so feasible, but with this wall of smokes, it's almost impossible with the limited HP as well on Techno ground. I mean, I don't know if there's kills here at the tail end of things, but Techno will get 1, so he ends up 15-8, but an 8-7 scoreline as we finish 15 rounds. We'll have to see what the next 15 bring with us in the second half after a break.
Spectacular start to the half, but what a catastrophic end to it. Lynn Vision managed to bring it right back the way they started off, and they are looking good all over again. Remember, the IHC had most of their success versus Rare Adam on their T side. Is it about to be a second time over for that one? Let's wait and find out.
Yeah, our opening map of our final slot here for the Asia region into ESL Pro League Season 17. Still a bit tumultuous, neither team having much of an advantage coming into the second half, and so this pistol is important. They all are, but let's just really hone in on the fact that if Lynn are able to get this one, they would put themselves in prime position to establish a nice early lead. It does look like a slow creep in towards the A site would be a mistake here for IHC. A nice four-man setup here on the side of Lynn, but they simply fire off a couple of shots and then back themselves away. If they do decide to target B, X-Pro is all alone.
I believe the term is Giga Chad plays. You know, just walk up to the stack, shoot out some shots, and then move all the way back to the other side of the map, right? Bartek as well is now getting ready to set up and make sure that no one can actually push through from mid. He's in a very good position to try and cut at least one player off. X-Pro not finding anything with spam, and they might want to go through, but they won't even need to. Score has been great about these kills. Bartek even trades out 1 for 1, so great setup for IHC coming through into it. Blitz spotted out, but does it matter? He is still fighting back. There are 2 more players to deal with on the other side of things, and he's got plenty of time bought up for his teammates to make their way over, but he might not even need it. Blitz is tearing them apart, but Starry's doing the same. Remember, we've seen this guy ace a few times over, and we can't get enough of it. Maybe it's another opportunity. Kit on his back, and he's still got a chance, but Techno finds him with his head turned. 8th found for IHC.
Man, I mean, this round was all over the place. Just the fact they fired off those couple of shots from middle, Lynn were so hesitant to move because they fully anticipate that there's no way they make this amount of noise at the start of the round and that nobody's going to peek. Nobody swings even slightly because we're not showing. We're not giving any information away. But for them to move back towards that B bomb site and then as well find that kill into X-Pro so quickly, yeah, I mean, things get really, really good for IHC. Maybe not Giga Chad moves, more Giga Brain, because they avoided the stack perfectly and then found the anchor. So
I just had that TikTok music playing in my head. Don't, when they were doing that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I hate that I know what you're talking about.
Scores out and over, but right enough by 7. Nelly trying to look for the third, but Bartek is playing damage control, still a 3-on-3, and Zachar's got a real chance to get something out of this round. Deagle in hand, around the smoke at the ready, and as they start to drop over, he's given over info as well, but he needs the 1, maybe even 2. And as he waits for the smoke to phase, Westmoreland has already gone. Zachar has gone over and picked up a Galil. Have they realized he's crossed is the big question, or did the flashbang end up blinding themselves as well? Seems like they do have an idea, but now there's X-Pros come over with the scout as well. How did they cross to the bomb site? This is going to be so difficult.
They still think he's in the site, I'm pretty sure, because they are looking at directly at the bomb site. They kept spamming it, and so Zachar's position is completely unknown. It comes down to X-Pro, whether he can finish off business, but he can't. Not against Blitz. Full HP, and finishing off a 4K here for a second round here for IHC. It is damn close in the Lynn Vision force buy.
And it's 2 separate instances where they're just not able to get the right read after a double kill. Nelly gets 2 over in apartments, and he's worried about a player coming down from lower. It pushes in, dies to Bartek. It's okay, he's done his job, right? No, Zachar comes out with a quick double as well, and then he peeks into pit while the bomb hasn't been planted, and he's got a player watching out for the cross. That is what just resets the round. Otherwise, that should have been theirs any day of the week.
You were pretty on the money, though. I mean, they kept, as soon as he sort of escaped from the site, you weren't sure whether they sort of been partially blinded by the flash. I'm pretty sure that was the case. Because, yeah, they were very hesitant, very cautious about the actual site, and Zachar had vacated long ago, so sometimes the small things can certainly make a big difference. They knew Zachar was within it at one point. Just never saw him leave. This might be a round we leave alone, but let's not forget IHC a round just like it on their CT side. 1 for 1 is going to be good enough, and the flash is great. Techno actually tanking a nade as well, and they are hot on his heels. Annihilation is trying his best to keep him alive.
Man, with how wonky the Galil spray is, I wouldn't be surprised if Annihilation just accidentally ended up killing Techno.
It's not wonky, you just don't know how to control it.
Shut up. I don't want to hear that. that I am the problem. Well, the problem is it's a 2-on-2, and Starry's got a weapon that he can pass over to Nelly as well. They don't have Kevlar, so that could be a slight differentiating factor, but it's a 1-on-1, and now anybody's game.
Annihilation's trying to read into it. Planted for short side, so trying to anticipate where the move from Starry is going to come in from. Could be a number of different angles, but also, the same can be said about where Annihilation is going to play in the post plant. And there's no kit here for Stars, so he doesn't have a whole lot of time to actually deduce where he's gone off to. Yeah, Starry's taking his time, making sure he doesn't get shot in the back. And we'll move to save instead. Another close call here for IHC.
Yes.
And one in which is just narrowly dodged by the fact that they make a pretty brazen decision. You know, I don't think Nelly was revealed over on the B bomb site, but they just run Annihilation up middle to go and get that bomb planted over at A, and it was ultimately the right call.
They're in a terrible economic position, though. Right? Like, this is where you lose one, and Lynn Vision are right back into things.
Yep.
And as far as Lynn's concerned, they've gotten so much kill bonus that even Zacher, who has an AWP and head armor, also has like another $1,000 of utility on top of it, right? So this is not exactly a small state of affairs you have to deal with. And look at this util damage coming out early on top of it all. Blitz has been just punched in the gut and then some.
Yeah, they went for the peek from the apartments, and so did damage with bullets, as well as HEs to sort of follow up. So a bit of a surprise that Blitz is even alive, but able to keep himself so and dodge out the early aggression that Lynn wanted to implement. They have a lot of utility here on the CT side to kick off this round in an effort to enable that play, whether it's been the flashes that they throw over to second middle or the early deployment of smokes towards top B. Nade on the corner does tank into the head of Westmelon. And he's got a good melon on his shoulders. You know, brain. I feel like he's got good brain.
Makes sense. He is got a hard head, but all nice and tasty on the inside.
Because
he likes to get aggressive, but he can get cerebral.
Sounds like an advert for some kind of food to get to his zombie. Not be a market for that in iZombie. Very niche show, niche program perhaps. But great flash, and not going to actually catch anybody out. Starry just spamming away as soon as that flash bloomed, and the smoke as well does very little in terms of enabling that fight. Starry is the one that takes all the attention, and Nelly is just chilling. No problem here. 6 seconds left, and Blitz had no foray into this bomb site. Lynn were already making their rotations before this hit arrived, but the fact that Westmelon and Starry were able to get so many kills before anything really happened, it meant that IHC had no real hope in that round. The waterfall out of the apartments gets very little.
Westmelon, get your Westmelon. Thick on the outside, juicy on the inside, just like the zombies like it.
Yeah, well, this guy is great at hitting headshots.
He is fantastic.
Yeah, entry fragger. Sometimes he's a little delayed, but, you know, with X-Pro sometimes taking the aggressive maneuvers, you know, sometimes he sets up Westmelon.
Set up or not, the point is he knocks him down most times. He is given those opportunities. God, man, IHC are just in such a terrible circumstance where even in the first half, you know, they won 2-3 rounds in a row. Like, okay, should be fine. No, you lose one and you're gone because you've been dying on 4 members again and again and again. Right?
Mm-hmm. And they won 2 rounds where they were already in pretty shoddy economic circumstances, and they still won. So, you know, you think about if the buys go to plan, you know, if the full buy versus the low buy wins every time, then Lynn could very well have run away with this game.
But fortunately, that's not how CS works.
No, it's not, and I'm happy for that because I'm terrible with my money. You know, I'll buy sometimes an M249 by accident.
Oh, you meant in the game. Okay. Score, but the tech Tech9 will be able to actually find a gun for himself and on the lurk, as they might end up going for a B wraparound. He's even got an opportunity to start getting a bit more aggressive as they start to move through, but he's not got the HP to try and pull off any maneuvers. Expro's got to pull off a Techno performance, and right now he's in a difficult position to try and go for it. Jumping Tech9 in, he's got the double, but not the third. And Score's set up to come inside as well. Does not want to go back and contest from Banana. He knows that's where everyone is coming in from. Double nades are ready if they want to start lining those up. Will do no damage. Score is still very much alive and healthy. A deep flashbang won't matter either. Score's been taken down. Blitz needs to be the first point of contact. Annihilation playing delayed. The bomb is planted to the top, remember. And as Blitz peeks forward, he has peeked into too many. Felt like he needed to get aggressive, but really feels like they were ants in his pants for no reason.
Great effort from Starry throughout this game so far, and the win conditions are certainly there for Lynn Vision. A round in which you wouldn't have maybe expected IHC to come away with the win, but even with that in mind, we still had Expro on that B bomb site that did what he had to, did what he needed to, and while he's not maybe as sharp as Techno was on those kills, equalized the affair enough that, you know, the advantage that IHC could have had they got that kill cleanly or traded 1-for-1. It changes the whole dynamic of how that retake plays out. So, great job for the in-game leader of Lynn Vision, but also when they have Starry performing like he is, when they have Zacher hitting his shots, it's all going to line up, but not when HEs are stacked over towards B. Westmoreland tanked a whole lot of damage at the start of this round, and for very little exchange.
Oh, he almost goes for the jump. Now instead he's given an opportunity to actually fight with Starry on even-ish ground. We'll end up having Bartek take that kill away, but he's more than happy to concede it. Now in a 5-on-3, but weapons not really recoverable. Score close range with the Deagle. Could find this. He should have the advantage in this position, but Expro quicker to pull the trigger.
Yeah, losing this round would be terrible here if you're Lynn Vision. Money's in a decent spot that they could reinvest, but this is again one of these buys that ain't too pretty here for IHC.
I like this. Score is generally the lurking player, so as soon as he dies, they don't actually move back. IHC decide to stay. Now, unfortunately, they don't hard commit the way that we'd love to see from the minimap, but remember, they're setting up for what could be just a B-side hit. 30 seconds on the clock, and everyone is getting worried on the Lynn side. They have zero information of what's going on, so they can't really commit too hard to the B bomb side either, and with the smoke ready to cross over from CT, this should be a bomb plant at minimum. Remember, though, there's an M4A1 on the other side. We all know what a tyrant that can be through smokes. 10 seconds they need to get onto the bomb side, and now with the boost set up, they won't be able to do so in time. Bomb recovered. They need to be careful, need to dial in those digits, and as soon as they are, Melly moves in and he's won the round for them. Another one-on-one circumstance for IHC, which they do not come out on top of this time.
Yeah, I mean, a perfectly built round there from IHC at the start with the nade stack, and then as well, just late retaking of the apartments and punishing Starry for overstaying his welcome. You know, found themselves in this 5-on-3 very quickly, and if not for the fact that Lynn Vision actually make a pretty solid read on the situation, then the round plays out entirely differently. You know, they hear this flash thrown from the apartments, and I imagine that the thought process there is, if they're on a low buy like they are, where one of our teammates has died to a Glock, for example. You know, they went for this nade stack, and I think that was pretty much all they brought into this round. If they're running unlimited resources, if they were going to use a flash, they would use it with a purpose. And once they heard and saw nothing over on the A side, they stacked the second player over at B, which sets Nelly up to be the denier of the plant. You know, it's still very slim margins. They're still losing a lot for what IHC invested in the round, but they still win the round because of the read they make in the late moments. So, yeah, they save themselves from losing a 3-on-5 versus practically a no-buy.
Been a few of those this game so far.
Yeah, it kind of hurts to see, because I think we've come to expect IHC's quality, their standard, is raised over time. And a big reason as to why we talk about so much growth within the Mongolian region as well, because they had teams before. You know, I think the Mongolian scene has always produced players and teams. But
Shout out Machine Gun.
yeah, but never as structured as the likes of kind of an IHC.
Oh, he wasn't ready. He wasn't ready.
How dare they boost? Fight me one-on-one.
I don't think they'd actually boosted there. Might be wrong about that one.
Well,
I think they were setting up for the boost and then they didn't until after they killed him.
Mm-hmm. Either way, your head's kind of in the same place, even if you use the stairs. You're just a little smaller. You know, I think it's what kind of throws off the perspective a little bit. You can also jump up a lot faster than if you had strafed or ran yourself.
Really annoying.
Yeah, small advantages, but that's how pro players do.
Keep an eye on Zacher. Zacher, oh, he gets away? Somehow, backs off, and with 18 seconds, gets another tag as well. Nelly's come through big time. No flashes, nothing to stop him. Zacher is holding on for dear life, and it is being rewarded.
The nade even tried to hunt him down, but it landed around the other side of the pillar where Zacher's positioning was perfect to avoid it. Don't even think they knew where Zacher was for all of those frags. I think on the final kill, it might have been Score was the final one remaining, but clearing close left cold zero box, and that's not where he was. So him staying alive made a big difference in that round, that's for sure. Back on pistols. We're familiar with your game here, IHC, but will they fall victim to it this time? They've had a lot of close calls already. Surely if there's any sort of amount of progress here for IHC, they win this one, given how close they've been in the past couple.
Now, this one seems to be a little bit more cut and dry, right? Sorry, Nelly. Just come through. Easy pickings all over the place. Starry feeling a little bit hungry for more, and considering that this guy's 24 and 13 right now, just notice the score is really catapulted forward. Initially it was Techno who was lighting up the scoreboard. He's had a harder time on this T side.
Yeah, Star's been doing a great job. And what we come to expect, I guess. I think the thing with Starry is that he'll have these big games, but then will be a bit middling, so you're maybe not expecting him to have more of these big games, but you know he's got the capacity for it, and at such a young age, people are certainly excited about that. 13 to 10, this reinvestment here from IHC, it feels like if they don't answer back now, then they'd be fighting only for an overtime. If we're to believe that full buys equal round wins. That hasn't always been the case, but... Oh, they're actually setting up around the half wall. They're boosting out on an angle where... Could have been a headshot angle, but Zacher actually mounts the wall as his teammate begins to fall back. He's still sticking around, and that will be proving to be a mistake. 1-for-1 exchange. Score can actually take this banana spot and use his smoke. Damage is pretty solid onto the IHC players, though, respectively. Blitz and Score not at full, 51 and 38 apiece. But they've not made their decision as of yet here, the Mongolians. It's actually forced a 2-2 split here on the Lynn Vision side, so they're very detached. Get this entry onto the A bomb site, and you might very well overwhelm it and get into a post plant quick.
There's also 2 Molotovs available for IHC, and well, Starry's got a smoke, so maybe actually this is where he's got a chance from the bicycle angle to get something sorted, but Annihilation in the meanwhile is not actually able to take him down. Starry will instead just back off to a corner, and Molotov will keep him away, but it's going to run out very soon. Flashbang forward. Blitz is waiting as well for the rotation in from Library, but he's managed to catch out Nelly in the meanwhile. X-Pro manages to come back into things, but Blitz and Bartek are keeping this even. With 10 seconds, the bomb will be planted. The op of Annihilation, rather the op of Score, is far away. Annihilation is down. Score has to make this 1v2 happen all on his own, and he's not peeking into the bomb. It's not planted for him either. There is no way he can get this done unless there's some sort of magical lineup I've never seen in my life, and turns out there isn't.
just taking a little too long. You know, made the decision to hit this A bomb site, and they throw all this utility. They throw the lurk smoke out of the apartments. They throw a Molotov. They throw flashes, but they take too long to actually deal with the players within pit. So by the time they actually get into the A bomb site, X-Pro is there. You know, he was ultimately the differentiating factor. He able to get the kill to Blitz, and then as well deal with another player in the transit towards the bomb site. If they had an extra person to play with, you know, these post plants play out very differently. It's all about the timings and whether or not they can exploit them, and IHC could not in that instance. And they're doing a great job of always playing delay tactics as well when they know they need it. Oh! Looked like it could have been an absolute sitter. I think still moving when he took the shot, so landed just to the left of him.
We take this peek forward, no flashes to help him out. Good for the one at the very least, and if I'm not wrong, Starry should have been spotted. Annihilation goes for that peek. Are you kidding me? Bartek should be able to finish off Starry, or at the very least move past him. Bomb is planted this time over a lot earlier, but Westman has also found his way through. There's a smoke refreshed out at Moto, which makes it slightly more difficult for him, and a lot more of the pressure comes down to Starry. That grenade does not find Annihilation, and because of that, oh, the Molotov might. Nope. Bounced off by the pillar. Can't quite go deep to Cold Zero box, and instead Westmoreland will be completely mitigated. All he's doing is serving his distraction, and he's not distracting anyone. Techno is zoned in where it matters the most, and he will find the double 11 for IHC.
May have had most of his successes over on the B-bomb side, but it turns out he can defend either site when called upon. Great effort there from Techno to find the timing onto short, but just overall, IHC being able to crack in as quickly as that, it made it very difficult for Lynn to compose themselves in for that retake, and a very awkward game state to find themselves in. You know, Starry still held onto the apartments, and people have just bypassed him altogether. You know, whether it's the missed opportunity on Annihilation, or I think even Bartak as well, being able to run by. I think they would have liked an additional prong to the assault at the end of it, but just not feasible to sort of come out of the apartments. It always feels like you're in a spot where you almost cannot trade your teammates. Tough call to make, but yeah, Leonard kept at bay. Could have been number 15 had Starry's aggression panned out. But I do find it interesting, you know. I think often we find when teams get aggressive on CT sides, they're very fixated on one side of the assault. That round we actually saw Zacher and Starry go in different aggro positions where they actually couldn't support each other. You know, they're sort of working in tandem. You know, it's still over at the apartments, but it's not as though, you know, Zacher could, if he got that kill to start off the round, there's no one there to support and help him on the fall off, or help him on the retreat out of the apartments if there's another player. So Lynn moving on a few independent pieces and maybe relying on some of the star power that either Starry or Zacher can provide, because that is something that has acted as a propellant for Lynn Vision's
It's helped
success.
a lot, yeah. But I also like to just point out, I am slightly spoiled because we've got Zacher and Annihilation going up against each other. And sure, Annihilation's not having the best of games, but I love repeat heavy operas, right? Like, because like when they work so hard. So that's sort of the two most classic re-peaking aggressive oppas outside of Dan King and Asia, and oh, they have snuck past. This is going to be so much faster than they normally used to. Pit is completely empty, but short is where Nelly will find Techno in from. Bartek yet to really strike through, and Blitz has found one, but traded most of his life to do it. By the time the T's are in position to try and fully execute, it's Score who will come alive, but the bomb is so far away, they cannot recover it. Zacher is being defended by X-Pro's push in through Banana, and with this, it's a 3-on-2. Blitz and Score have got to do it all.
Flash to allow Blitz as well to retrieve that bomb, but nobody actually wanted to take that peek too early. Lynn do have kits available, as well as a decent amount of utility, but no Molotov to flush out Score, and he's going to have to be the main man on this defense.
Good nade to start things off. It's Score to take the first contact. He does not fall, doesn't even take a single bullet to weaken him down. Remember, he's been fantastic in clutches time and time again, but not this time. The shadow was there from Zaka, but he simply can't line it up after Zaka with a big double on the retake.
Oh, I mean, hard round there from IHC, and they make a pretty solid call, you know, changing the pace and getting out of the apartments, where Lynn are trying to play more forward on short, but yeah, they ultimately run by. If not for the fact that Nelly's able to prove so formidable on that short side defense, this round is completely different. You know, he gets these 2 kills onto, I think, Bartak and Techno, and he maybe lost track and didn't see Score dive himself into the pit, but with him finding those first 2 kills, you know, I think most people will be confident that they've dealt with the assault, but even with Score getting the upper hand, it wasn't enough for IHC to use that as leverage. Good kill from Annihilation to kick off this round, as Westmelon to try and go for a dangerous peek down bottom B. Something we've seen too much from the Lynn Vision CT side is actually going for these forward assaults on Banana in the early stages. They have fought for top Banana, but he can see the oddities. They have moved for a 3-1. X-Pro is frequently left to his own devices, but he is the in-game leader. I assume he's comfortable shouldering the responsibility.
You'd hope so.
It's like, why do you guys keep staying away from me? Where's my help?
He's going to need it pretty soon. Now, he does have an incendiary, and he will have Zaka starting to move over. But remember, Zaka with that utility is basically useless. That up will do nothing once the smokes will come down. Timing on the Molotov is good, but they've already crossed over. Oh my goodness, they haven't chucked out the CT smoke yet. They're falling apart. IHC, not like this. Blitz might be able to give them a chance of a hair to get something done, but with the grenade lined up, oh, Starry nades himself. Maybe there's still some semblance of hope. Blitz trying to move back and find that banana lurker. It's Nelly to fall. Blitz will bring it back to a 2-on-2, but Expro is quick to turn that back in their favor. The clock is ticking down. 10 seconds are all Blitz has left, and he knows it's not enough. He knows it. There is no way for him to win out this round. What a disaster. IHC should have taken that one home any day of the week.
Yeah, a round in which they had all the utility, they had the right call, they hit the weaker side, but they just don't throw one of the more basic smokes that I think anybody, I mean, most people watching at home, most people in a pub will probably throw. Maybe they're overthinking it, trying to segment into spawn, but they actually just fall into a trap. I think there were a few saving graces for IHC this game. You know, they won quite a few low buys. There was certainly an opportunity for Lynn to have been more